wonderful sweet baby. So today I want to give you guys even more of an update on everything that happened with Diddy. So we pretty much talked about everything and the reasons as to why he was arrested yesterday. So now we're going to give the aftermath, if he was able to get any bail, visitorship, everything else. And I'll even talk a little bit about celebrities as well as a little bit of things that are being brought up as of today. So first we're going to talk about the fact that Diddy pled not guilty for racketeering as well as trafficking and, other many charges. So far, he's also been able to see his sons. He's seen Justin, Christian, and Quincy. And, this is, people taking pictures of them in the slammer to see their father. And we can see here another picture with Quincy. And then this was, just footage of the paparazzi and media following them while they were on their way to see their father. Now, we did also receive a little bit more clarity in behalf of the attorney that was speaking out on Diddy turning himself in, and even the reasoning of him moving to New York in the first place. So this comes from the Inner City Press, and this is from Agnifilo, and it says here, we could tell an indictment was coming in the fall from our meetings with the prosecutor's chiefs. My client flew to New York. I told the prosecutors I'd like him to have the opportunity to turn himself in. It continues with saying, we got involved in this case in March 2024. I've been doing our investigation. On March 13th, I reached out to my colleague at U.S. Attorney's Office and asked to meet. The November 2023 lawsuit seems connected. It got attention. They read the papers. After the raids, we took Mr. Combs' passport on April 1st. After that, anytime he traveled domestically, we told the prosecutors. A trip to graduations in California, another one for whitewater rafting. We wanted to build trust to surrender. So just side note here, guys. So you guys can see that this guy is pretty much being calculated. They've been very calculated with the way that Diddy's been moving. A lot of people are like, oh, why is he out and about doing these things and blah, 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 blah. Diddy was trying to make himself, I feel, seem more human-like by doing these actions. Then it says, the March 25th raids were frightening. Lasers pointed at his children. They were marched out of the front of the house with the news reporters and helicopters, handcuffs for 2 hours, completely innocent. We did not want that to happen again. Yeah, so I just feel like once again trying to make it seem like they are demonizing him, even though, all the demonizing things that we've allegedly heard that he's been doing over the course of these years. So then as things went forth, then they eventually found out that Diddy actually tested positive for narcotics right before he was taken into custody. So then after this, Cassie's name was dragged into everything because they tried to once again make Diddy seem as if he was more human than, possible, because they're trying to really plead his case at this point. So Cassie was catching some strays, and it was stated that, Cassie and Diddy's relationship was toxic and the toxic feelings was mutual. So it reads here, Mr. Combs is not a perfect person. These toxic relationships were mutual. Now he is trying to be better for the rest of his days. If there's one thing we've seen, we should stand with people who are trying to get help they need. And this is coming from his attorney that said what he was saying before. He continues and says, these two people were in love. Victim 1 ended up marrying the trainer that Mr. Combs got for her. They had been cheating on each other for years. But now she had 2 kids with the trainer. Years later, she realized she had a good thing with Mr. Combs. So he's referring to Cassie. So he's saying that Cassie's trainer, which is Alex Fine, and her and Alex was cheating while she was in a relationship with Diddy. He then is saying that years later, after she got married with him and had kids with him, she's realizing that it was a good thing that she had with Diddy. I'm not sure where Diddy's attorney is getting this information from, but this is what he spewed out to the public while, trying to defend Diddy. So then he continues on and says more. He says she has her lawyer call his lawyer and say she has written a book, But if you want to buy the rights, you'll have the rights for $30 million. We have a recorded conversation. It did not go well for her and the lawyer. November 2023, she sues. Then he says 2 people were in a hotel. An issue that Mr. Combs had more than one girlfriend. Okay. Victim 1 was looking through his phone and saw that, then hit him in the head with the cell phone and took his clothing, so he comes out in a towel. So at this point, he's referring to the situation that happened in the hotel room and the buildup that happened to where it even, progressed the way it did in the end. And then it also came out about Kalina Harper. So Kalina Harper was a part of Danity Kane, and then she became a part of Dirty Money, the group that Diddy, Don Richards, and Kalina was a part of. So now they're saying that, Diddy is being accused of actually reaching out to people that he was, not so good with, and pretty much swaying their judgments to say good things about him so then he wouldn't look so crazy within the public eye. And I feel like he allegedly did this with Stevie J as well, and many other people. Some people were clearly not buying it, but Kalina was definitely one of those people that, fell for his BS. So they pretty much said that he ended up calling Kalina 54 times in following of Don Richards' lawsuit against him. So here's what this reads. Witnesses we have interviewed have universally expressed fear. The defendant has contacted witnesses who received grand jury subpoenas. He contacted at least one victim. This constant contact with witnesses on September 10th, a week ago, Don Richards sued. Before a September 14th statement by Ms. Harper, the defendant called her 54 times in one day. Some of the way in which the defendant contacts witness and victims are meant to evade. He uses intermediaries. So if you guys are unaware, Don actually decided to sue Diddy because of, S assault and, just being abused in the same way similar to Cassie, but instead she wasn't in a romantic relationship with him. Now, child, this is just too small from Kalina Richards, what she wrote. But if you guys do want to pause it and maybe zoom in, you guys could feel free to do so. As things went on, yesterday we explained how Diddy was trying to get out on bail. And he was even willing to put up his house that was worth $48 million. He was willing to put it up for $50 million. Also, he could be released off on bail. But it actually turns out that they denied him bail and he's going to stay detained until his trial is actually coming up. And the reason being is because they feel like the minute that they release Diddy, he may actually flee. But the thing is, as we'll keep getting deeper in, I believe we've already talked about how they've released his passports and everything, so he wouldn't really be able to do much traveling. So at this point, Diddy and his attorney are in the process of trying to get the judge to reverse the decision to make him have bail because Diddy is steadily trying to prove that he is an innocent man. Diddy even mentioned that he wouldn't have any female visitors visit him if he was released on bail because he's trying anything at this moment to be released. And now I just want to touch on what Lil Boosie says. So here's what Boosie said. I feel Diddy in jail for basically doing what every other famous entertainer has done. Flew B-words out for 3, what. He just freakier. We actually go call women P's who fly and willingly to be with a partner for S. If that's the case, if you've been flued out and had S, you should be labeled a P. If that's the case, that's 80% of the women reading this. And trafficking. Hashtag hell nah. You're a celebrity. You gotta fly P word. And how else you get the P word? You're never in one place when I saw that video. I was peed off this N word like he really got a problem, but facing life in prison for doing basically what so many other entertainers has done. Hashtag I disagree. I've got to be quick, but here's my thoughts. Diddy at this point is trying anything in his power to be looked at as a human. Even though he's not, I feel like he needs to stay behind bars with no bail. Honestly, I could tell Boosie didn't read anything in regards to what was going on with this case. Reading and research is key, but that's my opinion with